Minnesota's at Philadelphia for the second year in a row. Minnesota is at Philadelphia in week 2. Schaefer, we're going to get a different result this year because last year it was 24-7 Eagles. He's saying no, we're not going to get a different result.
No, we're going to lose.
So the Vikings could be without starting center Garrett Bradbury and Christian Darrisaw, their left tackle, was limited.
Yeah.
Eagles have all those injuries. They got Gainwell, they got Blankenship, they got Bradbury. Fletcher Cox was limited in practice as well.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, how are we looking at this this matchup here, I guess, for the Vikings specifically? Because Kirk Cousins, if there's a stat of the game, it's that last year he was super matchup dependent. He barely ever had a good game against good matchups. He scored more than 20 fantasy points against a top 12 opponent only once in 7 tries. But is this a tough matchup for Kirk Cousins, start or sit?
What day is the game on?
Is that still a thing, or did he fix that?
I don't know if it's the day of the game. I think it's the time of the game.
Well, that was getting there. It's also on the road, so he hasn't exactly been great in these situations. So he's not a top 12 quarterback for me. But I think if you have Kirk Cousins, you're still probably not making a waiver move. Like, I'm not starting Brock Purdy or Jordan Love over him this week. So, just have to hope that he gets some better protection because he was beat up. I mean, just, a continuation of last year, just him taking shot after shot after shot. And, that was against a lesser opponent, in my opinion. So we'll find out how healthy the Eagles are. I think some of these, practice designations aren't necessarily indicating who's going to be in, who's going to be out outside of maybe Bradbury because of the concussion. And, Nakobe Dean's not going to be there. But in terms of, Fletcher Cox, for example, I think he'll play. But it's a little daunting, especially if his offensive line is not at full strength. So you're starting Jefferson. I think Addison is going to be what he is until he breaks out, borderline number 3 receiver in 3 receiver leagues. And you're starting Madison.
Are you starting Madison?
Yes.
Okay, well, why? Let me tell you why you could sit Madison. You go back to last year, the splits for Dalvin Cook, the amount of carries he had in wins versus the amount of carries he had in losses, pretty big difference. If we think they're going to lose, there might not be that many carries for him. Madison looks like one of those volume guys, probably not a great running back, probably not going to break off a big run. Eagles' run defense was so good last week against Ramondre Stevenson and the Patriots. So I think that's at least the case to make against Alexander Madison.
Yeah, I've got him just outside of my top 24 right now. So I don't know if people will have 2 running backs who are better, but it was a very bad start to the season. I mean, he caught that short receiving touchdown, which was fantastic, but the rushing efficiency was terrible. And this team, we talked about it all off season, how pass heavy they're going to be, and they're going to throw even more now because they're going to lose. Well, there probably not going to be very many games where they're a touchdown underdog or more. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kirk Cousins throws it 45 times in this game.
I wouldn't be surprised by that either. So here's a question. Do the Vikings kind of take a tip from the Patriots and use their running backs in the passing game like the Patriots just did? Stevenson had 6 targets and 6 catches.
They don't change who they are.
The Patriots don't have Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison or TJ Hawkinson.
Targets to the running backs. This is a change for the Patriots. Throwing this much to the running backs against Philadelphia, I wonder if that ends up being the same thing. And Madison ends up with 4 or 5 catches, and that helps him survive.
I mean, he had 3 catches last week, and he didn't do great with them.
He didn't do great with anything.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So Jamie, is he in your top 24?
Yeah, but it's by default. I mean, it's as Heath said, it's hard to find a lot of great running backs.
He's in mine for now.
Who's the best running back in this game?
Gainwell if he starts.
Yeah,
I have Madison the highest.
And if Gainwell's out, then Swift is better.
You think Swift? You think I'd be concerned that Penny. I mean, I would start Swift. I have Swift in several leagues, and I'd be more interested in starting him. But my concern would be that he kind of stays in a passing downs role, and Penny gets more work on first and second down, and then he
absolutely might. But I think after what Nick Sirianni said this weekend, and the fact that they made Penny inactive, I would be surprised if even Boston Scott might have a bigger role than Penny.
Would you guys start a Jets running back against the Cowboys over Madison?
No,
I am not. But I will say we got a tweet about this earlier as well, and I obviously whiffed on Jamal Williams in terms of he didn't get into the end zone last week.
Go right back to him.
Yeah, he's going against Carolina. He and Madison might have the exact same efficiency, probably the similar target profile, and it's a better matchup for Jamal Williams. So I'd rather start Jamal Williams than Madison.
Agreed.
How about Raheem Mostert at New England or Madison?
Mostert.
Madison.
Oh, I think I've got him really close. I'll go Mostert.
How about Mostert or Gainwell?
Gainwell.
I believe I have Gainwell higher.
Right,
Certainly in PPR.
How about Addison over the all right, because like we look at this game and we have 3 must-start wide receivers, obviously, but Addison is in a different category. He only played about 55% of the snaps in week 1, I think. He did catch a deep ball for a touchdown. He had a very high average route depth, as I recall.
Well, that's because he had a 39-yard touchdown catch.
Well, no, I mean, that's route depth, not ADOT. So he had, a 10.85-yard route depth, which was the highest on the team.
Okay.
So the Eagles did not give up a lot of big pass plays last year, but I will say the Eagles' pass defense was not the same last year without C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who is with the Lions now. And maybe it wasn't the same last week, I mean, the Patriots threw so many times, but anyway, Addison's another. He and Madison are both kind of flexy, right? And who's better?
I'd take Addison in PPR.
Yep.
I think there's a better floor with Madison, but yeah, there's more upside with Addison.
Here's your stat of the game, number 2. In 2021 and 2022, Dallas Goedert had fewer than 30 receiving yards in 8 games. He followed each of those 8 games up with 60 or more yards in his next game. So, which tight end do you like better? We'll start them both, but who do you like better, Hockenson or Goddard?
Hockenson by 1 spot.
They're both top 5. Hockenson ahead of Goddard. But the coaches have already talked about how they need to get Goddard going. Wouldn't surprise me if he had a first half touchdown.
The last time he had a game where he actually played and had 0 yards was back in 2021 against the Giants. The next week he had the best game of his life. 2 touchdowns, monster game. So I don't know if the wheel's squeaking, Jamie, but 0 yards.
I don't know. There was an RPO play where Hurts handed off to, I think it was Swift, and Goddard was running free. Like the Patriots sent the house. And if Hurts had seen it, that would have been an easy touchdown for Goddard. And Goddard's like jumping around like an angry child at the mall because he didn't get, whatever he wanted at the mall. He didn't get what he wanted. So I think that you look at Goddard and say, you go right back to him and you start him. I have him I feel like I have him low and I've got him at 4.
All right, so this is why you have to watch the live stream on Thursday night because we'll know which running backs are in and which running backs are out. But the last question for this game is if Gainwell is out, how high would you rank DeAndre Swift?
Flex.
Right where Gainwell is, top 20.
I would be lower than that. I'm not so worried about Rashad Penny, but I wouldn't be surprised if Boston Scott gets more touches than he did last week. They love their guys. I would go Swift over Madison, but not quite top 20.
And the Eagles DST, last I checked, was 3rd for Heath, 6th for Jamie, 9th for Dave. You don't have to get away from them. And Dave, that would be the end of Thursday Night Football.
No.